So kind of responding to this minister Macalina, because she was trying to make it seem as if the Semites were Aryans, and that's what these last couple of videos are. So you can actually go to this, find this video real quick. At the top it says, "Invest in a Zondervan and look up Shem's descendants." It's not you; it's dark races, and it gets very specific. You got to read to understand. And she kind of goes and finds some newer version of the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, and then she's reading this little parts, and it's talking about Shem, and it says right there, the Aryan people, to a large extent, have derived their civilization from the Semites. Well, the Aryans that they're talking about, like I showed you in the last video, is not you. You guys barely showed up on the scene in 500 AD. I mean BC, 500 BC. These things were going on thousands of years. These covenants and everything else was between people, between Abraham and the Most High, thousands of years before you showed up. So let me show you what the Zondervan Bible Dictionary says before they started to change everything. This is the one that you're kind of instructed to go and get. Compact Bible Dictionary, Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Copyright 1967, but as you get now, if we get closer to the end and we get closer to the restoration of the people, now they're trying to change all of what the things used to say. Right here, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood. Again, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Now see, the whole world knew before that there was a distinction between the so-called Negroes and the Hamites. But as we've gotten closer to the end, you try to lump us all together. You try to make it sound like Negroes and Hamites are the same people. That's why you always keep going, well, if you want reparations, go to the Africans. They're going to pay too. Don't worry. All of you people in Psalms 83 are going to pay. All of you have had your hands in our destruction. So it's not a color thing. It's a truth versus lies thing. It's a spiritual thing. So when you go to your little spot there talking about, oh, look, it says Aryans, and those are the Semites. The Aryans is talking about were the ancient people in those lands, the ones that had the covenant with the Most High, the Israelites, and we had a covenant with the Most High. He made that covenant with our people, not white people, because you guys just showed up there. I showed you in the previous video. Just go look it up. You showed up in the areas, in these lands, around 800 to 500 BC. And all of these agreements and covenants were made way before you stepped on the land. So right here, Shem, second son of Noah and progenitor of the Semitic race, was born 98 years before the flood. Now, when you look back at that spot she was using, these people, the Aryan peoples, to a large extent, have derived their civilization from Semites. So it's just showing you that the Semites were called Aryans, and the Aryans were the Negroes. And so you can't shove us all into being Hamites. This would be a good book for you guys to go and look up, you other nations who seem to think that you Greeks and are thousands of years old and things like that. It's a book called Stolen Legacy. And it lets you know that the Greeks had nothing, that they stole everything from the Egyptians. Everything. There was nothing new about the Greeks. They stole everything from the Egyptians. And this author was killed shortly after he made this book. He made it a little too early. So we'll take a quick look at a couple of pages from here, but just understand that stolen legacy is what the Greeks did. So when you keep talking about you're the Aryans, you're the British, you're the Celts, you're the French, you're the Russians, trust me, it's all stolen legacy. Anytime you guys went into a land, the first thing you guys went to were the libraries to get information that you were never privy to in the first place. Says the Greeks, i.e. Alexander the Great, Aristotle's school, and the succeeding Ptolemies converted the Royal Library of Alexandria, right, into a research center by transferring Aristotle's school and pupils from Athens to this great Egyptian library. And therefore, the students who studied there received instruction from Egyptian priests and teachers until they died out. The difficulty of language and interpretation made it imperative for the Greeks to use Egyptian teachers. The Greeks did not carry culture and learning to Egypt, but found it already there, and wisely settled in that country in order to absorb as much as possible of its culture. So see, like we told you, you showed up around 500, 800 BC. You gone around and stolen everyone's legacies, everyone's inheritances, and then you said that they're yours. So at this time, at the end, 2024, you can just go pull up stuff off of the internet and think that you're really doing something. You're really doing some research. The Aryan peoples, to a large extent, have derived their civilization from the Semites, right? The Shem is considered the ancestors of peoples known as the Semites. Those would be Israelites. Those would be so-called black people. So what you call black people, Negroes. Now, hey, why don't you do some real research? I said, we have plenty of books and plenty of places that we can go. Shalom, family.